She dribbles it up through the backcourt, and she will dribble it out at the Comcast Center. Everybody comes up to their feet. Maryland advancing to the Sweet 16. Shot goes, comes up short, and the season comes to a close. Although the Spartans fall today 74-49 against the Maryland Terrapins today, they have a lot to hang their hat on this season.
Not many people gave us a chance, you know, to even be 500. You know, for this team to win 25 ball games and do it with 5 1/4 players and sometimes 6, and then build in 7 and then lose a kid, and it just has been an unbelievable journey. And I just wish it would have ended a little bit better. We are excited about the season and what we return. We return 5 of our 6 top players, 4 starters, and we're very excited about the youth that we have coming in the mix. Got my fingers crossed for our injury bug, but if all goes well, I think we have a very exciting team. We're going to start out with our super backdoors. We're going to clean up 40 and add in 30 today. Get some shooting and work in our quarter-court execution as well, okay? You know, for us, it's about taking more steps and becoming the best team we can be. Knowing that we would have summer access, we felt like we needed to try something a little bit different and unique with all the injuries in women's basketball around the country. And certainly we've had our share here at Michigan State. We needed to try something different. We spent more time in the weight room lifting and working on our plyometrics and our jumps, things that we felt like we could get strong in the core and working our hamstrings and our glutes more, just to make sure that those ACL injuries didn't pop up for us and that at least we would be more prepared come fall. We did less pounding, a lot less running. Some of our injuries have been because of overuse. I think fatigue plays a big factor in women's basketball and kids getting hurt. So we really tried to give that rest and recovery period in phases right after the season. We went about 2 months where they could come in and shoot, but we didn't want them even to play pickup at that point or do any running. So a good 2 months of just shooting the basketball, and that's it. As we got closer, when they all reported in July, we ramped up a little bit, but we didn't go 0 to 60. It was very important that we wouldn't go 0 to 60 out of the gates, because that's as detrimental as, you know, pounding too much. So for us, it was trying to get that balance, get a read on our kids, and our strength and conditioning coach, Tim Wakeham, did an amazing job, as well as our medical team, just balancing that for us in the off season. Normally we bring in sometimes outside organizations that do a lot of team building and boot camp type stuff, just to kind of build that camaraderie and create adversity before you get into your first game. We were able to do that for the first time ever this July because of the summer access rule, and use some of our time to do that. And I think that's really important. I think if you have good team chemistry on your team, I think you can achieve a lot of things and overcome a lot of things. So for us, it was about having that opportunity to bring in an outside organization that has helped us in the past, and also create a new opportunity for somebody else to come in and build with our team as well.
My name is Victoria Jaska. Most people call me Tori, and I'm from Freeland, Michigan. Well, I was born into a Michigan State family. We came and watched a bunch of the games since I was probably 5 years old. I came to a bunch of the camps when Coach McCauley was the head coach here. My mom said she would walk into my room, and when I could barely walk, and I was already dribbling a ball. So, I mean, I guess I was just born liking basketball. I committed to Michigan State August of right before my sophomore year. I've always wanted to go to Michigan State. It was my dream since I was in 6th grade. I loved the coaching staff. I loved in the locker rooms. The facilities here were great. And I only went to Michigan as my other visit, And after I went to Michigan, I knew I liked Michigan State better, and I don't know, I really didn't want to commit this early, but I was starting to not be able to sleep at night. I was just worried about it nonstop, so I had to commit, and then after that, I was happy with it. School is a lot harder in college. High school was pretty easy for me. I studied the night before, maybe even 10 minutes before a test, and I'd be able to get an A on it. In college, if you do that, you're not gonna pass the test, and if you do, you're lucky. But yeah, academics is a lot harder. You gotta study a lot. You gotta go over your notes like when you get home, all that kind of stuff, which I didn't know at first. It is nicer. I mean, you get a little bit more free times, but with basketball, you go to class from 9 to 11 or 9 to noon, and then you gotta be here an hour early for practice, and I'm here till 5 or 6 at night. After basketball, I have tutor sessions on Monday and Wednesday. And then on other days, if we don't have anything, and me and a few of the girls, whoever wants to go out to dinner, we'll all go out to dinner. And then we'll go back to someone's apartment and either watch TV, or if a big game's on, or the CMA Awards we went and watched last night. So we do a lot of things together after basketball too. I have come so close to all these girls, and it's crazy. They talked about how close we were as a family before I even got here, and at the beginning, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we're close, but now I realize how close we all are, and I think it's that common bond of having such a high goal set in mind.
She's a fierce competitor, and she loves to win. And not that other kids aren't, but she definitely is one of those kids that has that drive and that will to win. It means something to her, and I think that her personality certainly has been felt on this team. She's highly skilled player. She can shoot it, handle it, pass it. She can play multiple positions. She's got a high IQ for the game, which I think is going to allow her to be even more impactful earlier in her career. Sometimes freshmen, it takes them a while to figure out the system. You know, for her, she really thinks the game neck up, and she's a very, very intelligent player. So I think that without a question, with her skill set and her IQ, you're going to see her make an immediate impact.
In our first game against Ferris, Coach told me to go in, and I was like, looked around, I'm going in. Like, yeah, go. So I took off my jersey. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, you're like, Tori, you gotta tell them who you're going in for. I was like, oh, all right. So I told them who I was going in for, and then I walked in, and I heard my family all behind me screaming. I mean, they're just excited as I am for me to be out there. And hitting that first three, it was just like, finally, that's what I felt like in my head. I'm like, oh, finally, I'm here. Made a shot. Like, I felt like the pressure was off a little bit. It was a really good feeling. All the team was giving me chest bumps and woo, like cheering me up, and they were right behind me, so they weren't like, oh, she's going more than me. It was like they were all encouraging me, and it felt really good to know that they were all behind me, even though I was the freshman, scored the most. I couldn't have done it without them. They were the whole game. I looked over and seen them all standing up and stomping their feet and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely helped me keep going throughout that game.
Amaka Agugwa, but everybody calls me Mox or Coach Mox. Originally, I'm from Nigeria, but I grew up in Northern Virginia area right outside of Washington, D.C. I had my first knee injury in high school, right at the end of my sophomore year, I believe, and it kind of carried over into your junior year where you get recruited. That's like your big year. So I ended up getting dropped by a few schools that I wanted to go to at the BCS level, and had a bunch of mid-majors that were after me, and I ended up taking a couple of visits, and Hofstra is where I landed, and I loved, I loved the campus, I loved the facilities, I loved New York. It wasn't too far away from home, but it was far enough. So I ended up going to Hofstra and playing there, and had another career plagued by injuries while I was there, but I made it through, and we did some good things and made it to postseason for the first time in the school's history. And so, you know, there's some things to be proud of. And, you know, I still wanted to play after college. I had the opportunity. I went to a pro combine at the, you know, WBCA convention, the Final Four. I did that, you know, and had some okay looks, and had a chance or an opportunity to go play overseas, but my doctors wouldn't sign off. They thought my knees were pretty bad, and they wanted me to have another surgery before I was able to go. So I just kind of hung it up at that point and went right into coaching. I just love the game. First of all, I'm very passionate about the game. I love competing, you know, and working with a team and kind of working for something bigger than yourself. But I also like, you know, mentoring the young ladies and helping them grow into women and helping them be set up for life after basketball, because no matter what, even the ones that do play professionally, at some point the ball's going to stop bouncing. So I just like to be a part of their, you know, maturity and growing and getting to the point where they'll be able to be successful in society.
Well, we're excited to have Coach Mox part of the Michigan State Spartan family. I think she brings so many intangibles that we were looking for. Certainly, first and foremost, she's a very good recruiter. She's already gotten us involved in some kids that maybe we haven't been able to get involved with in the past from a regional standpoint, and expanding that a little bit. She's an East Coast person. She grew up in the DC, Virginia area, has recruited a lot on the Eastern Seaboard, and so she has great relationships there, which have already paid off for us. Love her personality, very outgoing, very engaging. She's an initiator. The other thing that's been exciting that she's brought to our team and our program is, as a player as well as a coach, she's done a lot of full court and three-quarter court pressing type defenses. So she's been able to bring some of her knowledge, and it's been exciting for our girls. I think we do have a group of kids that can press, and it's nice to have somebody with that expertise. So she's been able to bring that to our program as well.
Initially, I was interested in Michigan State because I knew it from being at Indiana and being in the Big Ten, so I was already familiar with the school. So I knew the, you know, the history that's been the recent history of women's basketball and, you know, facilities and all that great stuff. But Susie was a big part of my decision. I really like Susie. I like what she stands for. I like who she is as a person on and off the court. She's very competitive. She's very passionate about the game. She's a mother. She's a wife, and she balances it all. And that's, you know, something that I aspire to be when I, you know, eventually become a head coach. So Susie was a big part of my decision. And then when I came on my interview, I just felt part of the family, you know, from the administration down. I love the administration, the support from the administration, from Shelly to Mark to all of them. They're very involved. They allocate so many resources towards women's basketball. So it just seemed like a win-win for me. Get this. Our team it's a great group of kids. They are family oriented. They really are each other's sisters. They really have each other's back. They play hard. They want to win. Everybody's focused on, you know, a common goal. So that's great to be a part of that. A lot of times you're not really coaching effort, which sometimes you do, you know, in just coaching a team, period. You coach, you know, how hard the players are going or the intent, the effort. And here they bring that to the table. So really you're coaching their ability and coming up with strategies for the game, you know, the game plan. So that's a plus. I think that I'm very optimistic about this season as long as we keep everybody healthy and focus on the same page. I think we have an opportunity to do something special this year.
Wrong, okay? But they're trying to figure out, you lose a Skylar Diggins and it changes your dynamic immensely, even if you still got McBride and Jewel, right? I mean, that's a different thing.
They averaged about 25 points off turnovers last year. Okay, so if you can eliminate your turnovers, I mean, they get it out and go. Obviously, they had Skylar, but McBride can bring it, Jewel can bring it, all their guards can bring it. So if we just really eliminate turnovers.
Scheduling is always a challenge, certainly, but we have always had a nice relationship with Notre Dame, and we like that rivalry and what they bring. I love playing them early because I think that if you're going to play Notre Dame, that's a good time to play them. You know, everybody's in a transition period. You have your newcomers and your veterans, and you're trying to build in, you know, and mesh those two groups, and it's not easy to do. I think Notre Dame is a very well-run program, and they've got high-level players, so let's find out where we're at. And for me, it'll expose some things that we have to get better at and we need to continue to work on in practice, and it'll also enhance and hopefully collaborate some of the things that we have been doing, that we're doing some of the right things for our players. At the end of the day, it's never where you start, it's where you finish. And I think, you know, last year's team was proof of that, you know, and playing for a Big Ten tournament championship and having an opportunity to be a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. And most people felt like with our injuries, we wouldn't even be a significant part of the race. So felt really good about what we accomplished considering our adversity. But this is a new year, you know, and if there's more expectations on us, we'll accept that. We don't put a lot of credence in what other people think about us. We really care about what we think about ourselves, and that's most important, is achieving our goals and our mission within our group of 15 people.